A paradigm is a way of seeing the world. It helps us frame our existence and to see reality. That's the good side of paradigms, and we operate in multiple paradigms in different ways. But paradigms also create what they call paradigm blindness. Our imaginations have been pretty much captive to a certain way of looking at the church. A paradigm of church that has pretty much come to us over many centuries. Now, it resolves a lot of problems, but it also creates as many as it resolves. And so we need to learn to think outside of that paradigm.
I think the thing that really forced me into reimagining what church was came from a number of different angles. Certainly Alan's writing, Neil Cole, and other people were influential in that. I remember a conversation with one of our leaders named Kathy, where she said to me, and this kind of took me off guard, she said, "Dave, could we start something for people who won't go to church?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And so she began to explain that she'd actually started working with a population of girls and young ladies that struggled with anorexia and bulimia, and that she was trying to bring them to one of our locations, which was our largest venue, and that for her to actually bring those girls into that venue was so intimidating they actually couldn't come into the space with just several hundred people, and wanted to know, could we start something for them? And so that started me thinking, like, wow, okay, so maybe with the way we're doing church, we can't reach everybody.
It takes a bit of risk because many of us are very invested in the current forms of church, that we think that we can't possibly do that because it's God's church and that, you know, we have no right to mess with it. Well, it's not the original form of church. The one that we inhabit is not really the one that was in the early church or in the Bible. We've come to think of it that way, but really it wasn't. I would say if you took most of our pastors, most people listening to this, if you kind of time warped us back into the 2nd century and said, go and look for the church, tell us what you find. Now, I'm going to bet that most of us wouldn't even find the church because the categories by which we measure church, the way we see church, does not exist in those days.
I think all those things together have pushed me to a place where I'm saying, okay, I got to start seeing this whole thing that we call church in a completely different way, in a way that really could be a catalyst for a movement.
Unless the imagination is changed, the default mode or the default paradigm will simply reassert itself, and all attempts at change will just snap back to default. Getting imagination or seeing it first is the most important piece.